Hey, Jenny. Good morning. Hey. So I'm out and about this morning. Decided to just come outside and walk a few laps because I got to get that clarity you were talking about and just keep things in perspective and keep things happy, positive, sunny sunshine, even if it feels like my world is coming to an end. I'm just going to let God handle it, because if I try to handle it on my own, I'm not going to be able to. My anxiety will take over. So I just hand it out to God and make some prayers, and hopefully the best solution is already figured out.
That's Anne-Marie on a sunny day in July 2023, walking sweaty laps in her yard, trying to find clarity, trying to keep things in perspective, trying to stay positive, even though, her words, it felt like her world was coming to an end. By then, she knew. We all knew. But we weren't there yet. This episode is about the shift, the moment when the music changed key. I'm Jenny Skoog. This is Sister Songs. In music, a minor key isn't necessarily sad. It's just different. The intervals between notes are smaller. The sound is darker, more complex. A song can be beautiful in a minor key, but you feel the weight of it. Memorial Day weekend 2022. That's when the key changed. I had just moved back to New York after a year in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was getting back on my feet after a divorce, finding an apartment, rebuilding my life, and starting over at 45. It wasn't easy, but I was doing it. And then the call came about Dad. His health had been failing for a while by then. COVID multiple times, diverticulitis, congestive heart failure, dementia creeping in around the edges. He got COVID again that spring, and this time it nearly took him out. They put him on hospice, and hospice called us and said that he was likely to pass. So we all rushed home. I flew to Minnesota. Anne-Marie flew in from Longview. I hadn't seen my sister in more than 10 years. 10 years of phone calls and letters and texts. 10 years of rebuilding our relationship from a distance. And now I was standing at the airport, waiting for her to walk through the gate. And then there she was. On the drive back to the hotel, we talked, really talked, about Dad, about whether he would survive, about what we would do if he didn't. We talked about the funeral. Neither of us wanted to go. Not because we didn't love Dad, we did. But the funeral would be at the church. And in Laestadian funerals, the ministers speak, they preach, and they have a way of reminding the living that death is coming for all of us, and that those outside the faith are destined for hell. We didn't want to be condemned or rebuked while we were at our most vulnerable. We didn't want to grieve in public, surrounded by people who believed we were lost. We didn't want to be paraded around or judged or pitied. I had already talked to Mom about it. She'd said, "If you don't come to my funeral, I won't know and I won't care. Funerals are for the living." So, Anne-Marie and I made a pact. We decided that neither one of us would go to Mom or Dad's funeral, but we each reserved the right to change our minds. And whatever we decided, we wouldn't judge the other. It felt like freedom making that agreement. It felt like something only she and I could understand. The next morning, we went to the gym together. I was pushing heavy weights around. That's how I process stress. Always has been. Anne-Marie got on the treadmill. And something wasn't right. She'd been having strange symptoms for months, she told me. Dizzy spells, drooling, slurred speech, emergency room visits. But standing there, watching her walk on that treadmill, I could see it in her body. She was shifty, uncomfortable in her own skin. Her head looked different, misshapen almost. I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. But I could tell she sensed something was wrong with her. She knew her own body, and her body was telling her something she didn't want to hear. Later that day, she had a panic attack. I wasn't there when it happened. I heard about it from family members afterwards. I was surprised. Surprised that she'd had the attack and surprised that she left so abruptly. Because that's what she did. She decided to take the train back home to Steve. She left without saying goodbye. I tried not to take it personally. I told myself she was overwhelmed. Seeing Dad so frail, seeing Mom, seeing all of us, the family that had shaped her and hurt her and loved her in equal measure. She didn't have Steve with her, and Steve was her safe place. Maybe she just needed to get back to him. And Dad didn't die, not that weekend. The hospice call had been premature. He rallied the way he always did. So maybe Anne-Marie figured, he's not dying today, and I need to go home. I didn't pry. We texted about Dad. I could tell something was really off, but I didn't push. That was our deal. We'd rebuilt our relationship on honesty and respect, and part of respect is letting someone have their space. A month later, I got a text from Anne-Marie. She'd had emergency brain surgery. I called her as soon as I saw the message. I didn't like having serious conversations over text. I needed to hear her voice. She told me what they'd found. A tumor. They removed it. Test results were pending. A few weeks later, the diagnosis came. July 14th, Bastille Day. I was just getting on the subway to go celebrate with my Francophile boyfriend and his friends when Anne-Marie called. Glioblastoma, she said. I typed it into the notes section on my phone, told her I'd call her back. And then the doors closed and the train pulled away from the platform. 35 minutes. That's how long the ride was. And somewhere between stations, while the cell service flickered in and out, I started Googling. Glioblastoma, most aggressive form of brain cancer. Median survival 15 months. 5-year survival rate 5%. I was surrounded by strangers. Rush hour. New Yorkers reading their phones, listening to music, staring at nothing. And me, falling apart in the middle of them. A sinking feeling deep in my gut. Dread. Disbelief. Anger. Helplessness. My fingers started tingling. I couldn't breathe right. I was hyperventilating, trying not to sob, failing, sobbing anyway. This stranger on the train crying into her hands while the world kept moving around her. When I got to the Oculus to transfer to the PATH train to New Jersey, I stopped. I couldn't get on another train. I found a corner and I called her back. We sobbed together, both of us so scared. It was surreal, me standing in this massive gleaming transit hub, all that white marble and light, and my sister 3,000 miles away telling me she didn't want to die. She said she was just getting going. She said she had felt so good after the surgery. She said she just knew something had been wrong with her, and now they'd taken it out. And how could it be possible that she might still die? She told me she was going to fight. She was going to beat this thing. And I told her we should go to Paris together. It was a phone call of dichotomy, terror and hope, death sentence and travel plans, both of us reaching for something to hold on to. I arrived at the Bastille Day party a complete mess. Red-eyed, shaking, trying to explain to James why I couldn't stop crying. I thought about the gym, the treadmill, her misshapen head, her shifty discomfort, the way she couldn't settle into her own body, the dizzy spells, the drooling, the slurred speech. It had been growing inside of her that whole time, while she was walking on that treadmill, while she was having that panic attack, while she was getting on a train back to Longview without saying goodbye. Her body had been trying to tell her, and now we all knew.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to make the best of it, and I'm gonna get that thing back on today. And no matter how bad it gets, I'm gonna just put it back on and keep it on, and maybe it'll kill this thing off. Laryngospasms or not, I'm gonna wear that thing. I'm gonna try it. The chemo doctor said yesterday if it's causing all those problems, he probably wouldn't wear it, but I don't know. I just keep trying. Beating a dead horse. I don't know what to do. That lady I met the other week said that she had 4 tumors and 3 of them went away from that device. So I better get that thing on, especially if they can't operate on it.
The thing she's talking about is a medical device, a kind of cap that delivers electrical fields to the scalp to slow tumor growth. She wore it for hours every day. It caused spasms, hot flashes, discomfort, but she kept putting it back on because she wanted to live. Keep trying, she says in that message, beating a dead horse, keep trying. That was Anne-Marie after the diagnosis, determined, hopeful, stubborn, refusing to believe that this was the end. Dad didn't die that Memorial Day weekend. He died 7 weeks after Mom in January 2023. By then, Anne-Marie was already in treatment. She couldn't come to Mom's funeral. She couldn't come to Dad's funeral either. She was stuck in Longview, fighting for her life, mourning from afar. She'd spent so many years trying to escape our parents' orbit. And in the end, she didn't get to say goodbye to either of them. Not in person. Not the way she might have wanted. The parents who raised her, the mother who pulled the strings, the father who was quiet and steady and built things with his hands. Gone, both of them, while she was 3,000 miles away with a tumor in her brain. James, the boyfriend I'd been on my way to celebrate Bastille Day with, held me together that summer. We'd only been dating a month when my sister called with her diagnosis. He was already learning what it meant to love someone whose family was falling apart. A few weeks after that phone call in the Oculus, I wanted him to meet Anne-Marie. In early August, we flew out to Longview to spend time with her and Steve. By then, we knew the sentence was death. It was just a matter of time. But Anne-Marie remained in complete denial, convincing no one that she would be just fine, that the worst was over, that she was going to beat this thing. Everyone, it seemed, knew the truth except for her. She didn't want anyone to give her pity eyes. She didn't want us to treat her like she was dying. She just wanted to say, "I love you," over and over again, and have those words repeated back to her. So that's what we did. We said, "I love you." We said it and said it and said it. And we tried not to cry.
Anyways, I'm going to try to lose a few pounds. Okay, love you. Bye. Say hi to James and Frankie, and I'll be in touch. Okay, love you. Bye.
She says, "Love you," twice in 10 seconds. That was Anne-Marie at the end, making sure we knew, making sure we said it back. If this story is resonating with you, I write about faith, family, and leaving Lestadianism on my Substack. You can find me at jennyscoog.substack.com. Next week on Sister Songs, My Wedding, a poem, sexy pajamas, and Anne-Marie on Zoom from 3,000 miles away.